Welcome to the AI and GIS Frontier podcast. Let's get into today's topic.
Today, we are looking at how ESRI is integrating AI across the entire arcgis platform. If you use arcgis in any capacity, this is going to affect your daily work very soon.
What has ESRI rolled out so far?
They have been systematically embedding AI assistants into every major product. The arcgis Arcade Assistant helps you write expressions through natural language. The Business Analyst Assistant generates reports, builds color-coded maps, and compares sites from plain English prompts. There is an AI-powered ArcGIS Pro assistant in beta that handles natural language queries, SQL generation, and context-aware help. And they just launched a Notebooks assistant that generates Python code, explains existing code, and fixes broken scripts. For a forestry analyst who spends half their day writing Python scripts to process inventory data, that last one is a game changer.
How does this change the workflow for someone doing forest management in ArcGIS Pro?
Think about a typical task, like building a harvest planning map. Today, you might spend an hour setting up symbology, writing label expressions, configuring pop-ups with stand attributes. With the AI assistant, you describe what you want. Color stands by species composition, label with volume per hectare, and add pop-ups showing the last 3 inventory dates. The assistant configures it. Where it gets really powerful is the Notebooks assistant. Say you need to batch process 5 years of LiDAR-derived canopy height models to calculate volume change across a timber license area. Instead of writing that script from scratch, you describe the analysis, and the assistant generates the ArcPI code. It is not perfect yet, you still need to review and test, but it cuts the development time dramatically.
The Item Details Assistant sounds interesting for data management.
This is one that does not get enough attention. It uses AI to improve your metadata, generating better titles, summaries, descriptions, and tags for your GIS items. For any organization managing hundreds of layers in arcgis online, metadata quality is a constant struggle. Environmental agencies that need to maintain detailed metadata for regulatory compliance will find this especially useful. Instead of manually writing descriptions for every wetland delineation layer or wildlife habitat, Polygon, the assistant, drafts them based on the data content.
What about the administration side? There is a new role-based privilege for AI access.
Right. Administrators now have direct control over who can use AI assistants in their organization. This matters for government forestry agencies and environmental consultancies that handle sensitive land management data. You might want your senior analysts to have full AI assistant access, but restrict it for field data entry staff. It also addresses concerns about AI-generated outputs going directly into regulatory submissions without review. The governance layer is essential for enterprise adoption.
For environmental consulting firms, what is the practical impact?
Speed and accessibility. Consider a small environmental firm doing a wetland delineation project. The field crew collects GPS points and photos. Back in the office, someone needs to create the wetland boundary polygons, calculate areas, cross-reference with the National Wetlands Inventory, generate a regulatory submission package. With AI assistance, each of those steps gets faster. The Pro Assistant helps with the spatial analysis, the Notebooks Assistant automates the report generation script, and the Item Details Assistant handles the metadata for the submission. A project that used to take a week of office time could compress to 2 or 3 days. Multiply that across dozens of projects per year, and it is a significant competitive advantage.
Are there limitations people should be aware of?
Definitely. The assistants are still in beta or preview for most features. The code generation is not always correct, especially for complex geoprocessing chains or unusual data formats. I have seen the Notebooks assistant generate ArcPI code that works perfectly for standard vector operations but struggles with raster algebra or network analysis. Also, these tools work best with well-structured data. If your geodatabase is a mess with inconsistent naming and missing attributes, the AI assistant will struggle just like a human would. The fundamentals of good data management actually become more important, not less.
Where is ESRI heading with this in the next year?
I expect the assistants to move from beta to general availability with much better handling of complex multi-step workflows. The real transformation will come when the AI assistant can orchestrate entire analysis pipelines, not just individual operations. Imagine telling ArcGIS Pro, run the annual timber supply review for this forest district using last year's configuration, but updated with this year's inventory data. The system understands the full workflow, executes it, and presents results for review. We are probably 18 months from that being reliable, but the trajectory is clear.
Solid overview. The message for ArcgIS users seems to be, start experimenting with these assistants now so you are ready when they hit general availability.
Exactly. The learning curve is gentle because it is just natural language. But understanding what the assistant can and cannot do reliably, that takes hands-on experience. Get that experience now while the stakes are low.